Morning, y'all. It's 5:15 in the morning. Hope you're all having a lovely start to your day. Had actually a lot of questions on the rental part of that Reliance deal. That is not very popular here in Alberta. I do know that it's popular on the East Coast and starting to become popular in Ontario. I think mostly because the costs of those installs are going up. But here's the rub of that is you're actually renting or leasing that equipment, so you never own it. And the reason that they do that from a business perspective is that they do expect that they, because they own the equipment, will change out that equipment every 5 to 8 years, whether you like it or not. And so you will never, ever own anything. Like yesterday, I pulled my well. That thing was 41 years old. Owes nobody nothing. It's got 27 impellers. I took a quick picture of it. I'll take it. It's too dark this morning, but like obviously still have it. It's freaking awesome. On the difference of the technology, I put it didn't have a gallons per minute on that thing, but we figured with some internet searching that it was about 7 gallons a minute, so that's what we put down in there. It was 1.5 horses, which is a massive pump for a residence. The guy that built my house in the 70s, built it, did it all himself, was a Finnish carpenter, an absolute tradesman, like just did an incredible job on the whole thing. Really, just spared no expense in 1970s fashion. And so that pump that was in there weighs 80 pounds, was about 240 feet deep. And like I say, that thing will push up to 700 feet. No problem at all. It's usually reserved. I was talking to my buddy who we use to pull wells, because I'm not young and dumb anymore and I don't do it myself anymore. He's only seen that in a residence like twice before, and in both those circumstances it was feeding 2 houses. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that the equipment that they made then is not the equipment they make now. There is, whether they'll admit it or not, they won't admit it to the public, but there is planned obsolescence in those pieces of equipment. And so the new pump that I put in there, which again is a Grundfos or Franklin electric, I hope to get anywhere from 12 to 15 years out of it. I do not expect to get 41. So since I think the word of the week is beholden. And so those HVAC companies like Reliance and the big ones, and as a small contractor, I can go to some finance companies and say, hey, I sort of want to open my services to a broader base of people that can't afford me, and they will do the financing, third party, pay me directly what I want, and then that customer will pay that finance company till the end of time. And because I'm no doubt Reliance and those big boys keep it internal, you will never own a piece of equipment. And I think that's part of the model, is that you become beholden to them because they say, well, we're changing this out, and you can't say, well, you can't. They say we are, because you don't actually own this, which is crazy to me that you could own a house and not own the equipment within it. But that's what's happening. And so what happens when you sell that house, that contract of the equipment needs to be negotiated into the sale of your house. So either they, the finance company switches over. It's usually pretty seamless, but there are certainly opportunities for obstacles. So the unfortunate thing about those bigger companies, the reality is they have, more lawyers than they have tradespeople, and that's the game. As I've said before, if you're going to run your own show, then you need to employ a slimy lawyer that will do things at your behalf, in your behest, because that's what you'll want. And these guys, no doubt, have that. I do not understand. I was chatting, a few people on this. What's the point of the ticket? We all brag about it. I'm a ticketed plumber. I'm a master plumber. That should carry some weight. That should carry some responsibilities. And in fact, it does, if you take that seriously. And if somebody asks you to do something that is dishonest or not going to work, I mean, you literally go to school for 4 years and put in close to 8,000 hours of your time to become a ticketed something. We're obviously talking about plumbers. What's the point if you don't bear any responsibility for that? Both of my boys, and I've said this for years, it should take you it's a 4-year program. It should take you between 6 and 7 years to get your ticket if you do it right. Lots of guys blow their way through it and become a journeyman, and then the first day on the job, which has happened to me, you hire a journeyman plumber that doesn't know how to install a hot water tank. You hire a journeyman plumber that has never I had to explain to one guy who was just full of piss and vinegar and hubris, tried to sue me, actually. Only worked for me for a couple of weeks. In fact, tried to threaten me because he was a redhead. He's like, redheads, I will haunt you for the rest of your life. I'm like, go ahead and try, Dick. Anyway, I had to show him how to do an offset. We were redoing some drains in a restaurant. It's like, I don't understand how this works. I'm like, dude, you claim that you're a journeyman plumber and have been for 5 years, and you don't know how to do an offset? Unfortunately, at the exact same time that I hired that dude, I hired a gal who was very nice, but I don't know if she was all there. And that's not a reflection on women. It just was her. And they hooked up and went on some crazy, sex-crazed romp for like a month. And then quickly melted down and tried to destroy each other's lives. Anyway, that's, another fabulous tale of hiring morons to work in to represent Baker Plumbing. So bad. So bad. In fact, I know I'm all over the place on this one, but whatever. The same dude, we were working on a restaurant and had to change a gas valve on a rooftop unit, which is pretty easy. I mean, it was bigger than most gas valves, but it wasn't that complex. Anyway, I left him to do it. He was there for all day and finally quit. That's the reason he quit, is because he couldn't get it to work. But told me that everything was working. Quit that next night, or that night, I think, if I remember right. And then, whatever. I didn't know that he hadn't actually fixed the rooftop unit. And so when he came after me because he wanted severance, he literally worked for me for less than a month. he wanted this and he wanted that, and I told him to get bent, and he was going to take me to employment standards and all the rest of that bullshit. And so he went to the restaurant group that I had billed for the work and said, you know, you got billed for that work and it was never completed. And so the restaurant phoned me and said, what's up with this, bro? Because it wasn't, you know, whatever. It was like a $2,500 bill. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'll go check it. And they were pissed. I'm like, yeah. When I went up there, you know, sort of all connected all the dots, I was like, oh, yeah. So the guy that just ratted me out for not completing work was the guy that went to complete the work and quit because he didn't know what the F he was doing. And then tried to use that as leverage against me. And of course, you know, if you want to hire a quality plumber, I'm available now. Tried to use that as like a sales tactic to steal my customers from me. Just hopefully he's still making his maintenance payments. I found out because he had worked for such a short period of time. We had sent in his paperwork so he could be insured to drive my trucks. And for whatever reason, it took, you know, a week or two to get that info back. But by the time I got that info back, I found out that his license was suspended because he hadn't been paying his child maintenance payments for such a long time that he got his license suspended. Just a super gem out there. There's so many lovely people. I don't know where we went on this thing, but unfortunately, those big companies are not doing things in the customer's behalf, which is obvious. I don't know how you install 211 units, and I don't know if they're all wrong because they're obviously different sized condos, but the more expensive condos are wrong. They're all undersized, and literally the journeyman, which I don't know how they make it work. In Alberta, like, I'm allowed a 2-to-1 ratio, so for every journeyman, I'm allowed 2 apprentices. And they check on it pretty rigorously. And I suspect money talks. So those big companies are like, listen, we don't even have a journeyman. We got a bunch of frickin' second years that we're calling technicians. And you're just gonna let it fly. And maybe they don't pull permits. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works. And maybe they have one dude that they're pulling all the permits through. But if you're letting people pull permits through your name, you should be bilking them. Like, a lot. Because, again, Alberta, the permits are like the black hand. They take a percentage. It's not a flat fee. If you do $10,000 worth of work, then they want, I don't know, $350 of it or something. So you should be, if you're shopping out your ticket, you should be getting at least that, if not more, per permit. Holy crap! It's like 13 minutes in. Anyway, just some morning ramblings of the madness that is the trade world. Hope you have an excellent day. It is Truth Tuesday, so expect a couple of truth bombs. Maybe there's a few in there for you. The cold weather's coming back just in time, and we had a lovely day to pull a well, and all is well, and we're back in business, and everybody's happy, and my baby goats are doing fabulous. Thanks for asking. My thoughts, not yours. Have an excellent day. Yeah.